Welcome to The Exclusive. I'm your host, Sharon Tharp. I'm back. It's the day of the finale. We've made it 100 days. I'm out here in LA. I got to catch up with Julie Chen, so I'm going to play that interview for you. We talk a little bit about the final three, what she thinks, how the jury is feeling, all those things. If you haven't already, please check out my Winner's Weigh-In series interview with Dr. Will Kirby, which was, I knew it was going to be fun, but he came prepared. He came ready to go, and it went off the rails a little bit at the end. But you know what? I don't hate it. It's fun. So if you haven't checked that out, please check that out. And yeah, here is my interview with Julie Chen. Hi, Julie. Good morning. So this season has been 100 days long, longest season ever. We finally made it. How are you holding up?
I feel like I have the easy part. These poor house guests. We've never done this before. And you could see like around day 82 where they just kind of were just spent and running on fumes. But it was lovely to see the boost of energy with the final three, like making it to the finale night. So that was refreshing. I
Yeah.
feel for them.
Yeah, so we have Matt, Jag, and Bowie all in the final three. And even though they're aligned, they've all played very different games. I know you said a few weeks ago that you thought Jag deserved the win the most. Do you still feel that way? Or do you have a rooting interest?
I do feel he deserves it even before he broke the record of winning most POVs out of anyone ever in the history, 25 seasons of this game. Um, you know, he deserves it, not just because of those wins, but because I don't feel like he made any false promises to anyone sitting in the jury.
Mm.
You know, everyone was kind of playing this season very not like, oh, it's you and me to the end. A little bit Matt, I felt like Matt kind of betrayed Suri, but I just feel like he got manipulated and let Jag run his game towards that end.
Mhm.
And Matt's a nice guy, and he didn't have it in him to stand up to Jag. So, but Matt is there. So I do think this is Jag's game to lose, no question. Out of anyone who's played this season, who knows if Cameron had stayed in the house longer, how that competition would have looked between the two of them, because Cameron was great at comps,
Yeah.
but he was the first member of the jury, so he's long gone.
Um, well, speaking of Jag, one thing that people are talking about, and it is an interesting thing, is that he was voted out unanimously earlier in the game and saved by Matt. So should they sit next to each other? Should that be a ding in Jag's game a little bit? And what are your thoughts, I guess? Should someone who's been voted out unanimously be able to win, or twist just part of the game? Like, what are your thoughts on that, I guess?
Because he had so many wins, he's earned his spot in that house. It wasn't like he got saved and then floated to the finals. So I do think he deserves to win it. And yes, that would be history making that, look, the whole reason we give these, comebacks, these second chances is to see, okay, you now have a chance to prove yourself. And no one else has stayed longer than, like, I feel like a week, maybe 2 weeks. And the fact that he made it through, it feels like it was more than half the game. Oh,
Mhm.
he's earned it. So anyone who wants to say that's not fair, who's evicted 10-0, well, those are the rules. We don't give second chances expecting you expecting or hoping you to get evicted again. It's like you got a second chance. Now show us what you got, and he showed us.
Yeah.
But
And
that should be something that if Matt is sitting with him in the final two, that's a big point for Matt. But Matt doesn't have that many wins under his belt. He's come through a little bit towards the last, 3 weeks. But prior to that, he wasn't a comp beast. He was a social game beast. And that wasn't even trying. He's not a phony.
hmm yeah, I'm wondering how Matt can undermine Jag's comp wins if he's sitting next to him. I mean, of course you want to say, well, I saved the guy, but it's hard to compete with seven seven vetoes. I want to talk about that a little bit too. People People are wondering, as the game has evolved over 25 seasons, the competitions have been a little more physical toward especially toward the end of the game. What do you make of that critique? And is there a way, especially for casting some older contestants, which I love personally, I think a lot of people love, that we can sort of even out the playing field a bit? Or do you think this is just the evolution of Big Brother? This is the new Big Brother.
I think it's not only the evolution of Big Brother, but it's not like we drastically changed it from one season to the next. So
Mhm.
anyone who is applying to be a house guest, you know some of those iconic competitions are endurance and physical, the wall challenge. So and the challenges have, incrementally gotten harder, even the puzzles, like the memory games and the puzzles. It used to be like, okay, put these things in a blender and can your team drink it and then like weigh yourself, or like silly stuff, almost Fear Factor-ish, that flavor. But look, it didn't prevent Suri and Felicia getting to the end. Some will argue that Big Brother is more of a social game, and I would happen to agree, which is why I think why Felicia Suri and Bowie Jane, for that matter, made it so far. Bowie Jane may not have had a strong social game, but she wasn't like getting on everyone's nerves. She wasn't a villain. If you can kind of blend in with the background, you that'll get you far, knowing when to hold your tongue, knowing how to get along with others and not, make waves. There's something to be said about that.
Mhm.
So I would say it's like 51% social and then 49% all those competitions. Because if you don't have a decent social game, you're not going to make it to the end
Right.
unless you're like a master manipulator, and that was like so long ago, like Will Kirby or Mike Boogie.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna ask.
You have to be like charming about it. You have to be charming about your villainous ways.
Right, like own it. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna ask you about Bowie Jean because I feel like, and I don't know if you agree, she has the hardest road, I feel like, to get a win. If you are her, like what is your pitch to the jury?
Well, she does have three HOH wins under her belt, which Matt does not.
Mhm.
And even though Jag won a lot of POVs, he didn't have as many HOHs. I feel like he had,
Two, maybe?
I don't know,
One, two.
I'm not even sure he had two. I'm trying to remember. I think he had like one, yeah, maybe two tops. And that is, like we always say, the most powerful position in the house. So, and if she, well, yeah, you can't take those three away from her. So that's more than Jag, and that's more than Matt if she's sitting next to either one of them. And she did, her whole thing was loyalty. So, not that that's a rule of the game, but that has to be, um, she has to be given some credit for that. She didn't go back on her word to anyone. She's been true to Jag throughout. And that's why she was so offended by Suri and Felicia when they lied to her,
Right.
because it's not in her nature, I think, to um, lie to people, let alone her alliance members. So she has that going for her. And yeah, I think it's her loyalty, her honesty, and then her wins.
Hmm.
She didn't
I
double cross anybody.
yes. Uh,
Mm.
so in terms of Matt and Jag, based on the feeds, it looks like Jag is wavering whether to cut Matt at the end if he wins the final HOH. We've seen this time and time again. Picking the right person to sit next to is crucial. It's a game and you're there to win, but I know Jag seems to be struggling with the morality of it all. What do you make of that?
I mean, I like that he's struggling with it, but more than that, that shows me how he's not giving himself enough credit for his resume.
Hmm.
Like that shows a deep sense of insecurity. Like and look, he's watched the show, so he knows quite often that these juries, they vote emotionally. But he just has to stand up for himself and defend himself, saying, like, I didn't, I never promised you my allegiance. You know, just like the rest of us, I was playing the game. I didn't dig in and say, like, I got your back. I got you, to any of you sitting on the jury now. If you've ever noticed when he's asked tough questions in the house, he just sits there and he stares out and he goes, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
he just goes, yeah, a bunch of times. He doesn't get let his words get him in trouble. He doesn't lie. So I think he has to believe in himself and know that, hey, I can do the right thing and take my buddy, who everybody on the jury likes, and everyone on the jury doesn't have any sort of, loyalty or deep love for Bowie Jane. And I could say, like, look, I honored this. I earned it. Yes, he saved me, and I love this guy, but I played the better game.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. And speaking of the jury, and obviously one of the final three will also join the jury. Who, I guess, can you see anyone voting emotionally or bitter? Like who would be the most likely person to be emotional? Is it that final jury
I
member or
think I don't think it's the final jury member, because if that final jury member is any of them, I
yeah,
don't see it in either in any of those three house guests. I do see America being, like, she had the deep hate on for Jag and Matt. And it depends if Corey, wants to co-sign on that and then help her debate and build up bad feelings towards Matt. Because in that jury roundtable, they were like, oh, Matt and Jack were the same. We just trusted Matt for whatever reason, because we felt more comfortable talking to him. Um, so I could see her voting emotionally, but everyone else, I think they respect the game too much. Felicia seemed like she was, a little bit angry at Jag, but she even admitted, like, he made the right move for his game.
right.
So I don't think so. I think everyone else is going to be pretty and I know Cameron respects the game, and Suri does too. Suri gets it. She's a pro.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanted to ask about her because she said she's played Survivor 4 times. Big Brother is a harder game. Do you think we might see more survivors wanting to compete? And what were your thoughts when you first heard Suri was cast?
Oh, I was excited because she, is very likable, and because she's older, and because she's a known legend on, like, the juggernaut, Survivor is like the gold standard of reality shows. And then the extra added bonus of the twist with her son. So this is going to be a side of Suri that we didn't see compete. And I'm glad she acknowledged this is harder, because there is no escape from the others or the cameras. Whereas, like she said, the island, you could stare at a beautiful sunset or a sunrise and have peace.
Yep.
But that house, sometimes you're in lockdown, inside while we're prepping the backyard for games. Oh no, it's like a gilded cage, you're caged. Whereas Survivor, you're out with, nature.
Yeah. This season we had a lot of fun characters. Felicia was a joy to watch on the feeds. We had Izzy, Heisem, just like all great television. Anyone from this cast you'd like to see come back at some point and play again?
Oh, let's see. I can't get enough of Felicia. So I'd love to see, I really was rooting for Izzy.
Same.
Um, I would love to see Izzy back. And, unfortunately, I think Heisem's good at the game, but I think his, know-it-all attitude is is going to make him not last. I'd like to see him on Survivor, though.
Oh my God, yes, that would be fun.
That would be amazing. But I'd love to see Izzy come back and Felicia.
Yep, I think
Have her Felicia and her mustard seed.
um I know last week, and trust me, I know you probably can't say anything, but last week you teased a holiday surprise announcement coming on finale night. Is there anything else you can tease about that, or like, are you going to be busy this winter, Julie?
I say you have to watch the finale to find out. I wish I could give you something. I can't say anything except it's hooked into December holidays.
I did speak with like 10 previous winners throughout the season, and they almost all of them said they would be down to come back for, if it was a shorter season. So can we make this happen, Julie, at some point?
From your mouth to God's ears. I mean, I know Rich and Allison have pitched, like a whatever, January, February, like a 1 month, like what we do for the celebrities, but the celebrities are all, legends of the game. And so far they have not bit. So, but and I feel like this actor strike is going to end before the weekend, so that would make it not happen. It would be it in a strange way. I could only see it happening if, something got the SAG after talks like off the rails, which would be a bad thing. So in essence, we should probably not hope for it.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you though. I would love to see like a 1 month version of Past Legends and just like, crank it up.
it'd be so fun. I know also this was obviously the big 25th anniversary season. Do you think next year for if we have we been renewed? I'm trying to think. Have we been renewed yet? We don't know. Um,
Um, they haven't made the announcement, but I know I'm going to say in my script, we'll see you next summer. And we're already doing the casting calls. We're running the ads. Like, do you think you have what it takes?
I
You
hope
know?
yes. Okay. So, well, do you think it'll be like a new era of Big Brother? Was there any changes you'd like to see, or do you think it's just going to be, just another season of Big Brother?
Wow. I I don't know. I mean, this is the first time I'm thinking of this. It would be kind of amazing to have like some new era of it. Um, like something to market, like yes, we've been slowly making the competitions harder and having these new powers and stuff like that. But it would be nice, like, okay, like a new bend to it. Who knows? Maybe we'll have like a golden Big Brother edition. You see, that could be a month. Like we have the senior citizens edition, and it's only a month.
I love some of the older
Yeah.
ones. They're really fun. Um,
Yeah, I agree. They have more texture to them.
Course. Well, I know we have to wrap up, but any predictions for finale night? Do you think it's going to be a tense night, a fun night? Like, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting a fun night, civil night. I don't think this jury's bitter. I think they're either mature or they respect the game too much. And I'm excited to see who wins America's favorite house guest. Like, is it going to be a survivor legend? Or is it going to be like lovable Matt, or like Comp Beast Jag? I have no idea. I know we're sorting that out because I don't even know who's in the lead because we have to put it through the company that does it for us. They have to um, do something to like wipe out all the bots because there are a lot of like fake votes. So they have to separate the fake ones from the real ones. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, someone was voting under my name and it wasn't even me. I was like, what's going on here? Um,
Yeah, see?
but I also think Cameron might get in there. I think people who watch the show, people I've talked to seem to like him as well. So could be him. I don't know.
Yeah, and that was a nice turnaround because like he was kind of quiet in the beginning and then he just came back strong and he was playing that unbeknownst to him like single-handedly. He didn't have real allies, but he was winning and he had power. So he was amazing to watch. Oh, and I miss Red. If Red had lasted longer, I could see him getting America's favorite house guest.
Yeah, that's the eviction I was at, Red's eviction, which was super fun to watch live. That was like amazing. Um,
Yeah, nice guy. That was cool seeing it. I was like, hey, there's
I know
Sharon.
you made my day. I was like, oh my gosh, she you saw me out of what the whole crowd. I was like, this is amazing. Um, very, very cool. But no, Julie, I appreciate your time. This is always great chatting with you. And it's been a long season, but really fun one.
A really fun one. I mean, that this was special, for the 25th. It all just kind of fell in line, 25th anniversary, 100 days, going into November. It just all kind of fell into place. So it was unique for many reasons and definitely an unforgettable season.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Sharon. Enjoy the finale. We'll see. I'll be talking to you before you know it. Let's pray we're talking about a Legends season for 1 month early next year.
Thank you for checking out my interview with Julie. I'll be back at some point this week, whether it's tonight, tomorrow. I'm not sure. We haven't gotten the schedule yet for the final three interviews plus America's Favorite Player. As usual, I'll be talking to all of them. And yeah, that's going to wrap up the season, guys. I mean, we'll see what I do in the off season. Like I said, I'll probably be covering the traders, but also Julie, totally forgot to mention, it doesn't sound like we're getting a Legends or all winter season. I know everyone wants that, but which I kind of suspected because usually if people are getting phone calls, my phone's blowing up. So it wasn't. So yeah, that's why I was leaning more toward a celebrity season, but I actually don't think that's the case either. I don't know exactly what it is. We're going to find out tonight. It sounds like again, it could be something very, very small. But yeah, that wraps up. I will see you guys later with my final three interviews.